Well done. Last finale.
Yes.
And we've got a very delicious way to end this day.
Yeah.
We're very lucky to have Robert here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you. And I can't sing, so don't make me sing at the end, you know.
Damn it. Okay, next time.
Yeah, next time.
So we've got, only 20 minutes. Okay, well, we'll try to push it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Because we have a lot to ask you, Robert.
Right.
And I think the first thing would be setting the scene for us. And I would love to hear, we would all love to hear actually, about your journey into fashion and what actually sparked your passion to create.
Well, that could take more than 20 minutes, so, you know, that is actually quite stressful. I think, I think it starts from my grandmother, because she was a seamstress in the market, and we always got this sewing machine at home. So that was always my first introduction to fashion. And then when I'm going through high school, I start going to thrift shopping, you know, to go to get vintage clothing, put it on myself and start sewing it all by myself, twist it around. And then I met someone also when I was a lot younger through church. You know, I'm a Catholic family upbringing. And then she is a few years older than me, and she got into a fashion university. So that would be the first introduction of what fashion design studying would be like. So that would be the very beginning, you know, of me trying to merge my passion in creating, but actually in the format of clothing, you know, garment designing. Yeah.
And then you studied in London.
Yes, I did.
So you went over, and where did you study?
London College of Fashion. Yeah.
Okay. And at that point, having graduated from LCF, how was it that you already knew that you wanted to start your own brand? You didn't want to go somewhere else?
I think it's fair to say most fashion design students' dream before they even got into a fashion design course was to be a designer, you know. So I don't think it's anything special or unique, you know, to be wishing that one day you can have your own brand. And after I graduated, I did work for a year as a freelancer here and there, doing editorial director, and also assisting a designer in London back then, Lucas Nascimento. And then I met someone who got an investor that is interested in helping me out. So, well, frankly, it's not my money, so I might as well try, you know. So that's how I started really at 2014. And then, going into it, learning as I go, and then here I am now, yeah.
That's quite a lucky,
right? Yeah.
lucky journey in. I think it's fair to say that not everybody, you know, dreams of having their own brand. I think many want to be creative directors or like learn through. But you were very brave, very courageous,
right?
With a little bit of luck and a little bit of somebody else's money.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of
sure.
everything.
A little bit of everything for
to
sure.
decide that actually you are going to create Robert One. And what's so interesting about his label, his brand, is that you have now, so you officially launched your label when?
2014, end of 2014.
So almost 10 years ago.
Yes, next year will be 10 years.
And you have a very, very interesting and distinct business model, especially being a London-based creator, in the sense that you do haute couture. And I'm curious, if you already had a vision of your business model when you set up in 2014, or did it really evolve over the last several years to become what it is today?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I said, really went into it very oblivious about the entire industry. You know, I have to really learn it as I go. And
We talked about mentors a few panels ago. Did you have a mentor?
Yes, you know, which is my business directors and also a lot of industry friends as well that I met through that 1.5 years of working in the industry. So, and it took me a long way to learn in a sense of you got to have to ask questions constantly. You have to always ask for help, and you always have to be realistic about where you are and where you want to go to. And I think a lot of things for what I do and my brand really just happened within this past 2 years. And all these 8 years before that was a lot of failure, a lot of little success, a lot of bittersweet. And you're just gonna have to use this as a journey to find who you are as a designer, what you want to do, who you are outside of fashion as well. I think that's the only way that you can really contribute something special to the industry. Or else it's just going to end up everyone doing the exact same thing, committing to the same cycle. So yeah, that's what it took me all these years to find out where I want to be, what fits me, and which part of the business side of the industry that makes sense to me as well, that I will be happy and I can actually be successful in. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I think not a lot of designers are as honest to say that it took 8 years of failure or failings and learning from them to then have this like rocket ship, what looks like from the outside rocket ship success. But we all know that, that doesn't really exist, rocket ship success. And if hopefully many of you will be able to go see the exhibition over at M+, because Robert's got this amazing, very small but very indicative exhibition of just 3 outfits.
Yes.
3 very beautifully made haute couture outfits. And I'd love for you to explain to us why the haute couture model for you worked as the way that you wanted to create and interact with your customers as well.
I always have been leaning on to something a little bit more time consuming, also personal. I think that's the key word, very personal. Like, it never comes to my mind, the first objective is how much money I need to make, what is my target stock is, how many millions I want to make in the past few years by selling how many sweatshirts or sneakers out there. I always want to, I got into fashion by really inspired by designers that just gave their life and their whole passion, almost like a firework, that's what I always describe it, to put into a show that only lasts for 10 minutes and they gave you a spectacle, and that's how I always believe a legacy was built. And I think nothing is so beautiful and personal as trying to achieve that, or else that's what makes us fashion. That's sometimes why I think different from clothing industry, because clothing industry is giving you something that you need and you can wear to go to work and makes you look good. And fashion needs to be something more, something personal, something that reminds you of art and emotion. And I felt like the couture business kind of gives you that time, space, and ability to build that clientele that will understand that. And also the designer for that space for you to take your time to tell your stories, and to create things that actually is going to be worth the time and brings in the client that will appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, so how do you go about actually building an atelier, a couture atelier in London, in East London, which is not necessarily the capital of haute couture?
No, not at all. Our clients are actually very scared to come to our atelier. I just want you guys to know as well, every time when they say, oh, let's do a fitting in your atelier, they're always very scared. There was a shit, where am I? Like, what is this? So it's a very interesting dynamic. Now we always go to their hotel instead. Yeah, that's to give you an idea what East London is like. One of the questions was about also, do I always know that I want to be a couture designer? The answer is no. Do I practice in a way that is very couture? Yes, yeah. But it never really comes to my mind that, oh, I can be a couture designer. And that all just comes to me after the Down Fashion Awards. And then after I met Bruno Pavlovsky, that he felt like, this is your space,
The CEO of Chanel Fashion.
Yeah, like you are a couture designer. And then with the French Federation support as well, they really believe that I shouldn't go into the ready-to-wear schedule right now, which is extremely hectic and packed. And my work deserved to have that time for the audience to really sit there and look at it without all the spectacles of media, marketing, fightings around it. So yeah, and now I'm in it and I'm really happy about it. Yeah.
How was that first haute couture show back in January 2023? You're the first Hong Kong designer to ever show on the haute couture schedule.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
How was that experience?
It was emotional, that's for sure. I think me and my team cried so much. Eve there with the yellow hair. I think, we were just, because it was such a short amount of time as well. I think we just finished the collection at the mid of October. And then all of this suddenly signaling that we might be doing our first ever runway show during Couture, and we're going to close Couture Week as well. Everything is less than 2 months. So we need to make a collection, never done a runway, figure out who's going to do the PR, who's going to do the production, who's going to do the casting. You know, you can imagine all of that. And then we somehow just, we bite the bullet and we managed. So it's almost like, I designed it with all that of stress and emotion, and I turned that into the inspiration itself. Therefore, the collection is called Fear, you know, which is, you know, because I'm scared shitless while I'm designing it. So I was just embracing it and then really trusting my instinct. So at the end, I don't even know if it's well received or not, you know. You don't really hear people clapping or not nowadays because everyone is with their phone, right? So you're just like, well, you know what, it's done, I don't care, you know. But then, yeah, so when we see the results, it's
then you get
good.
the reviews and you're like,
right?
oh.
And it was like, oh, damn, we did it. Yeah. So it's always going to be, it's something that I will remember forever, and I'm very grateful. But it's definitely not only me, it's my incredible team, and I have one here with me, so yeah.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Like, you know, I think most young designers and emerging brands don't necessarily think that haute couture and the sort of the expertise and the craftsmanship that you need in order for it to even be defined as haute couture. And do you think that there's a generation that is interested in coming in to do the very hard work that it takes to be defined as haute couture? Is there enough even expertise for to populate your atelier?
I think it's just like myself, right? Because like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know that I'm going to be a couture designer, like, or being in the couture week. But apparently my way of practice is very similar to that business model. And my clients have always been in that spectrum as well. So I think nowadays we're just so overwhelmed by the idea of what fashion is nowadays. We spend so much time debating what fashion is as a business, but we forgot what the soul of fashion is. And I felt like what couture does is to bring you back to that idea of the art of making, you know, of celebrating people that actually love making clothes. It's not about the celebrity that is on the front row. It's not about, what kind of like money you're making, how many flagship stores you're having. It's just that pure, genuine celebration of designers that wants to do this for the rest of their life. And I think that's what couture is. And I believe that young people, young generations, many more to come, there will always be talents like that. I felt like we just need to somehow give them the space to think about it, to try it out even, and to open that door for them. And I felt like that's what the French Federation and Bruno have done for me. Yeah.
Well, we're going to come to the celebrity later because that has been quite a natural and organic part of your journey. But before that, I thought the decision that Robert took to not show in June 2023 haute couture show was an incredibly brave one in an industry where the cycle, and the Well Done guys will know this, a lot of the designers here, where the cycle is so continuous and fast and demanding.
Yeah.
You always have to have like the next collection. And even haute couture, which is slower than ready to wear, you know, there's still typically 2 shows on that calendar. And you bravely decided, actually, no, I don't want to show at the next season.
Yeah.
Which, having just debuted in January, I'm sure both the Fédération and press like myself go, ooh, you know, why? And I would love to understand your thinking behind that decision.
Well, it's purely, I realized that it's actually nothing really new, you know. As a liar used to just show whenever he wants as well. And I think it's just, like I said, nowadays we're very used to the idea. We're very scared of failing. I think that's the key thing. You know, we're all constantly being put in comparison because of our phone and social media. Because we are, every day we woke up, we are being, oh, look at this person is doing this show here. This person is having this person doing this, da, da, da. So we're very scared of being different, being not able to catch up to things, being afraid to rest, you know, because you'll be called lazy. Even you ran out of ideas and you burn out, that's your problem. Because look at that person, he doesn't have an issue. They don't have a problem. So I don't believe good things come out like a fart, you know. So if you're not ready, you're not ready, you know. And you just need to make sure, okay, then when you're ready, make sure it's a good and it's a bang and it's gonna impress people and it's coming out from the bottom of your heart. And I mean, nothing speaks sustainability more than that, in my opinion. You know, just create while you are ready. And then I genuinely believe that let the good work speak for itself. I feel the idea of the schedule is very important because it really helps a lot of people to bring people together in order for them to see your show, to get you more exposures. But it cannot be simply something that we just blindly follow and ignore our health, our mental health, and our financial conditions. All of the above, you know. So yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything new or special. I just felt like it's normal to do so. It's like a movie director. They can take 10 years to make a movie. Why can't we? Not 10 years, but you know, like, yeah.
Well, it can sometimes
Right?
be 10 years, yeah. Yes, good for clapping.
you,
Because I
Philip.
think, yes, I do think, even though you say it should be normal or normalized, it is
Yeah.
definitely not yet. And I think that if more designers could think like you, that you don't have to be in that rat race and sort of on that wheel
Yeah.
and keep your mental health and also your creativity. And I think what you said about coming from the heart, which is something, you know, well done, and Philip Lim all have also said, and that you let your work speak for yourself. And that takes me to social media, because you do have a very large following. You have a huge engagement.
Yeah.
Like those, that's the sort of nirvana for any brand. You want high engagement even when you're posting. And I think what I find so interesting looking at your Instagram is that you're putting your work out there.
Yeah.
You're letting it very much speak for yourself, for itself, but that engagement is high. What do you think it is about what they're seeing on social media that gets such high engagement?
Frankly, I think it's because it's very honest. Yeah, I always show the process as well, my sketch or some little details, you know. I wouldn't say that it's not curated. Of course, it's very well curated, but also wants to, maybe in a sense, it's also very cohesive, the way that I use social media. I think I need to bring it back to before any of this happened, before I won the Down Fashion Award, or even before I made the collection that is about my grandmother, which was the one that really put me on that social media growth. It's always been my only platform for me to showcase my work, or even anyone to know about me, really, you know, because I was never showcased. I've never done a runway show before. I was never in London Fashion Week. So my Instagram is literally the only way for me to, let me make a collection, use my iPhone to take lookbook photos and post it out there and just hope for the best, really, you know.
Well, the best came to you, so that's pretty good.
So that was always my platform. And I felt like it's a new generation way of saying that, like, sometimes if you don't get the institutional support, or if you don't really get someone to back you that is powerful enough to put you everywhere on every single magazines or Vogue runway, you still have that one thing, and then it's that self-determination. And sometimes social media can be put into a very good spectrum, is that, you know, and that's what I use my social media is you know, with or without a show, it's a very good way for you to tell the world about your work, you know, what you do, and also what you believe in, like what they just mentioned. Yeah.
Celebrity dressing is another way.
Yeah.
And you do that very, very well. So I have here a list: Beyonce, Celine Dion, Lady Gaga, Cardi B, Florence Pugh, Billy Porter, and of course, Adele.
Yes, my favorite.
How do you, amongst others, how do you choose, you know, which celebrities represent the Robert Woon sort of woman, and how do you work with them? Given everything is so bespoke.
Right. I don't think we have a sort of a guideline of us choosing who we're gonna work with, you know, more like the team that approach us, the stylists, the management, when they approach us, they have a special project, and if that project aligns with us and we share the same vision, and normally it just clicks right away, you know. But obviously with the list, the people that you've just mentioned, I feel like they all stand for something beyond influence, you know. They can be called a musician, something that is culturally significant, politically as well sometimes. And I felt that is something that really aligns with me. You know, I need something that is with that substance, and that I also felt like celebrities like them would understand my work to a certain level, because I don't think my work is necessarily something that makes you look attractive, according to what is out there, the standard that is out there. So you need to have that power to own it. When you're in the room, you know you deserve it because you pay for this, and then you're gonna be in the room and people are gonna notice you. So yeah, so I felt aligned with them, and then also very grateful that they are people that I look up to, since I was very young. And the way working with them has been very spontaneous as well. I felt like when the team approached us, they already know exactly what they want, and then we also have our own vision as well. So it's a conversation back and forth, trying to find that balance. So what is very interesting is what we show on the runway is always going to be the fantasy version of it. And then working with their team, we have managed to create something that people can see that, I can actually have a version of this too. For example, the Adele rainfall gown would be presented as a raincoat with an umbrella with the embroidery, rainfall embroidery on the runway, and then we transform it into a very beautiful gown on Adele for her, set fire to the rain set. So that is the magical transformation, and that's the beauty as well by working with, artists like themselves, that you can create another version of your own collection. It's something I really, really, truly enjoy. Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned your grandmother's sewing machine, and then the collection inspired by your grandmother, your couture show called Fear. All these are incredibly personal to you and your history that you sort of bring along within your designs. I'm just curious, with all of that, what's next for Robert Wun?
What's next? Gonna continue to be an emotional wreck. That's for sure. Okay. No, but seriously, I do feel like what we achieved in January with our couture collection was really something special to me, because it makes me believe that as long as I'm true to myself, even if I fail or success, I will have no regret looking back. And that's very important to me as a designer. And I just felt like that really is a stamp of approval for myself, to really trust my instinct and design with my emotion. And then business-wise, I feel like we are going to continue creating collections during the couture calendar, but we do have things aligned which we will expand into accessories category and also perfume as well, So hopefully we can grow into the steps that we can still keep the brand identity. I can still be comfortable and happy as a designer and design to keep my passion, really, to not get stuck too quickly into the machine right now where the industry is, and to grow slowly as a business, not in a rush. Yeah.
I can't wait to smell like the Robert woman. Questions from the audience. This is your opportunity.
Yes.
We've got a few actually.
Oh.
Will we ever see a men's couture collection by Robert Wun?
We have men's. Ooh. I don't know why people don't see it. Maybe because the background is black and the garments are black, so it's just got synced in, perhaps. We do. We actually do a lot. We make 3 outfits for Burna Boy for his tour. Actually 4. Yeah, we make 4. So we do. But then I won't say the way that I design is always very distinctive in the sense of gender as well. It comes very organic to us and my team. I felt like nowadays artists or even the clients themselves, we have a couture client called Frederick. He orders couture pieces which is made to his body, but it can come from women's wear as well. So I don't think I would make a collection that is separate and say that, that's men's couture. I would just let it organically grow into it. But we always have a few genderless and also male model embodying those looks in our couture collection. Yeah.
Look out for it.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to be black this time, so you guys will see it.
Okay, that's good. Color. Is it considered impractical to pursue couture in Hong Kong, in your opinion?
To pursue couture in Hong Kong? No.
Yeah.
Not anywhere in the world. I've seen so many incredible couture designers all around the world, from Indonesia, from India as well. There's so many of them. And Hong Kong as well. I've seen, just now during the 10 Fashion Asia, I've seen so many designers with incredible craftsmanship and time taken into it. I think it's just the idea of don't feel that calling it couture needs to be like, yeah, it has to be going through a certain standard, that's true. But don't make it feel like, oh, it's impossible to achieve. And I don't think being anywhere or coming from anywhere will stop you from reaching that goal if that's what you want, you know, and that's where your passion is. Yeah.
Good advice. Couture is often seen as wearable art rather than as a product. In terms of marketing strategy, is there any difference in promoting the brand? How do you connect with your clients?
Yeah, that obviously is a huge distinctive difference. So when you promote couture, you need to work with a client in the sense of it's a completely different business model already. So what you need to present and what you need to sell sometimes needs to be appealing for the couture clients, and also where they want those pieces to be worn to and why would they order those pieces to be. Hence, that's why many couture houses is very heavily focused on bridal wear, because that's the only time that most of the couture client would spend big money on, you know, that would literally feed the whole house for a year. And so, yeah, definitely it's a very different business strategy. But what I feel with what we have achieved in January is there are a growing market of couture clients that are not only into bridal wears or evening gowns as well. You know, I feel like there is a huge growing market. I think even with Pharrell Williams' success, you know, in Louis Vuitton, there's a clientele that is growing to collect pieces that is so well made, took thousands of hours to make, but it could be just a simple blazer with incredible embroidery. And I felt like that is a growing market, and I believe that that market has always been there and will always be there. So I don't think you should restrain yourself because of how the industry majority always behave like, you know, or suddenly you can always make your own way. And I won't stop creating pieces that is a bit more evening or princessy, you know. I'm just gonna stick with the brand identity and let them imagine, you know, yeah, what it could be.
Very good advice. Have you noticed any changes in the fashion landscape in Hong Kong when you've been back this time compared to the last time you were here?
This is great. So I felt this is fantastic. It's a great change for me, you know, so I'm so happy to be back. And yeah, and I felt like there's a lot more designers right now in Hong Kong, which is phenomenal. There's Yuppie, there's also Christian as well, which I absolutely adore. And I think like they're phenomenal designers and they're based here as well. You know, they're trying to make magic happen. So definitely I would see that as a growing scene of young talents coming up and also embracing like Yuppie, what they do with tea bags is phenomenal to me. And I felt like they are also using their own culture and trying to find a way to speak honestly to themselves and show it through their work too. So it's definitely very exciting, you know. So I'm more excited to see what the government will do next, you know, to try to bring this up, you know, to more international platform and help these young designers for sure, yeah.
What advice would you offer to Hong Kong fashion students, designers who aspire to establish themselves in the haute couture industry?
Work. Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's in like also, if you're a student, I think it's very important to use your time as a student to really establish your portfolio. And that portfolio, I don't mean it for a portfolio for you to showcase to people, for you to get work. The portfolio is for yourself to see. That one day you look back, you were like, wow, look at how creative and fearless I am. I felt that is the only time before you go into the industry that you can be fully yourself. You know, like remind yourself always, I still have my graduate portfolio right next to my office table. So sometimes when I feel down, I would take it out and I'll show it to my team. Look at how crazy I was, you know? So there's nothing to be afraid of anymore, you know, just be yourself. And it's something that I'm still so proud of. So I want everyone to know that use your university as a time for you to find yourself, what you love, what your passion is, why you want to do fashion. And then go out and then take gap years. Go to the industry, do internships, work with different houses, try to find your foothold, understand how a business works, how a studio works, how an atelier works, you know. You need to have these knowledge in order for you to even know, okay, if you want to start by yourself, who do you need to work with? What do you need to get? And where do you want to go? You know? So yeah, internships, work hard, use your time very well in university, and yeah, let your passion guide you for the rest. Yeah.
I think that's a great way to end. Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.